chosen ones, stop fighting your dark side. It might be your biggest power. There's a secret most people never realize, a truth so powerful that if you understand it, your entire reality shifts. The battle you've been fighting inside, the war between your light and your darkness, is not a battle you were meant to win. Because the moment you stop fighting, the moment you stop resisting, you realize something profound. Your dark side is not your enemy. It is your greatest, most untapped power. We have been conditioned to fear our darkness, to suppress it, to reject it. From childhood, we are told to be good, to be kind, to be selfless, to always strive for the light. But what happens to the parts of us that don't fit into this perfect image? What happens to the rage, the ambition, the raw, untamed energy that society tells us is wrong? We push it down, we bury it, we pretend it doesn't exist. And in doing so, we cut ourselves off from a part of our own power.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But the chosen ones, the ones who truly awaken, know a different truth. They know that light alone is not enough. They know that true strength, true mastery comes not from rejecting darkness, but from integrating it. Not from destroying their shadow, but from embracing it. Because when you finally stop running from it, you realize that your dark side is not here to harm you. It is here to serve you. Think about the figures in history who have truly changed the world. Were they purely light? Were they soft, passive, endlessly forgiving? No. They carried fire. They carried intensity. They carried the ability to stand in the face of opposition and not flinch. They had power that came not from avoiding their darkness, but from mastering it. And this is the truth no one tells you. Your darkness holds the key to your greatest strength. But here's where most people go wrong. Instead of integrating their dark side, they either suppress it or let it control them. Suppression leads to self-destruction. It turns into anxiety, depression, inner conflict. But giving into it fully without awareness leads to chaos. It turns into recklessness, aggression, and destruction. The true path, the path of mastery, is neither suppression nor surrender. It is integration. It is the ability to take the raw, untamed energy of your dark side and channel it with precision, with purpose, with absolute control. And this is where the chosen ones separate from the rest. The chosen ones do not fear their darkness. They train it, they harness it, they use it as fuel. Imagine the energy of your anger, your pain, your deepest wounds. Imagine if instead of letting them consume you, you turned them into focus, into discipline, into drive. Imagine if instead of letting your fears paralyze you, you used them to sharpen you, to push you further, to break every limitation that has ever been placed upon you. Because here is the truth no one tells you. Your dark side is where your fire lives. It is where your resilience is forged. It is where the version of you that does not quit, does not break, does not surrender is born. And if you learn to control it, if you learn to work with it instead of against it, you become unstoppable. But how do you do this? How do you take something as wild, as chaotic, as seemingly uncontrollable as your own darkness and turn it into power? The first step is to stop fearing it. Stop seeing it as something to be ashamed of. Stop trying to suppress it. Instead, observe it. Study it. Ask yourself, what is this darkness trying to show me? What is it revealing about my deepest desires, my deepest wounds, my deepest truths? Because your dark side is not random. It is not meaningless. It is a messenger, Think of your anger. What is it really? Is it just rage, or is it a sign that something inside of you is demanding change? Think of your fear. Is it just weakness, or is it showing you exactly where your next level of growth is? Think of your pain. Is it just suffering, or is it a signal that something within you needs to be healed, transformed, set free? Most people spend their whole lives running from these feelings, trying to numb them, trying to distract themselves. But the chosen ones, the ones who walk the path of true power, face them. They sit with them, they learn from them, and in doing so they reclaim a part of themselves that the world told them to abandon. And this is the key. You cannot become whole if you reject half of yourself. You cannot step into your full power if you are only willing to embrace the parts of yourself that feel comfortable, that feel acceptable, that feel easy. True mastery comes when you integrate both your light and your darkness, when you know how to stand in the fire of your own intensity without letting it consume you, when you can look at your own shadows and not flinch, not run, not collapse, but smile because you understand that within them lies your greatest potential. So I ask you, what would happen if you stopped fighting your dark side? What would happen if, instead of seeing it as something to defeat, you saw it as something to harness? What if the very thing you have been most afraid of within yourself is actually the key to your greatest awakening? Because the truth is, the battle was never about eliminating darkness. It was always about mastering it. And now you stand at the threshold. Will you keep running, or will you turn around and finally face what has been waiting for you all along? The Shadow Warrior: How to Harness the Power of Your Dark Side Without Letting It Consume You. There is a fine line between mastery and destruction. Your dark side is not something to be feared, but it is something to be respected. It is raw power, untamed energy, a force within you that, if left unchecked, can lead to chaos. But if you learn to harness it, to guide it with precision, it becomes a weapon, an unstoppable force that can propel you to heights that most people will never reach. The difference between those who are consumed by their darkness and those who use it to fuel their greatness comes down to one thing: control. Most people are either slaves to their darkness or prisoners of their light. They either let their anger, fear, and pain control them, leading to self-destruction, or they suppress these emotions so deeply that they become disconnected from their own power. But the Shadow Warrior, the one who has mastered both light and dark, knows the secret. Power is not in choosing one side over the other. Power is in balance. It is in knowing when to unleash the fire and when to remain still. It is in knowing how to use the storm within without being swept away by it. The first key to harnessing your dark side is awareness. You cannot control what you do not understand. Most people react blindly to their emotions, letting their rage explode or their fears paralyze them. But the Shadow Warrior does not react, he observes. When anger rises, he does not lash out mindlessly. He studies it. He asks, "Why is this here? What is this trying to show me?" He does not suppress it, but he does not let it consume him either. He channels it, he transforms it into focus, into discipline, into an unstoppable drive to break through whatever stands in his way. Think about the greatest warriors, the most powerful leaders, the ones who leave a mark on history. Do you think they were purely light? No. They carried darkness within them, but they did not let it control them. They were not reckless. They were not ruled by their emotions. They used their fire strategically, precisely. and this is what separates those who rise from those who self-destruct. The second key is transmutation. Darkness is energy, and like all energy, it can be redirected. Most people let their darkness express itself in destructive ways. Anger turns into violence, pain turns into addiction, fear turns into paralysis. But what if, instead, you took that same energy and redirected it into something powerful? What if, instead of letting your rage destroy, you let it build? What if, instead of letting your pain weaken you, you let it sharpen you? This is where discipline comes in. Power without control is chaos. You must train yourself to use your dark side with purpose. When you feel anger, do not let it consume you. Use it to push harder, to train harder, to work harder. When you feel fear, do not let it paralyze you. Use it as a compass, as a signal pointing you toward the next level of your growth. When you feel pain, do not drown in it. Use it to forge resilience, to deepen your wisdom, to expand your capacity to endure. And this is where most people fail. They either try to suppress their darkness, which only makes it stronger in the shadows, or they let it run wild, which leads to destruction. But the shadow warrior walks the middle path. He does not fear his darkness, but he does not bow to it either. He commands it, he directs it, he makes it serve him rather than becoming a servant to it. The third key is integration. You cannot rise into your full power if you are still at war with yourself. The moment you stop fighting your dark side and start working with it, you become whole, you become unstoppable. Because now there is no internal conflict, there is no wasted energy. Every part of you is aligned, moving in the same direction, working toward the same goal. But this requires deep self-honesty. You must be willing to look at the parts of yourself that you have been avoiding. You must be willing to face your deepest fears, your most hidden desires, your most suppressed emotions, and you must do so without judgment. Because judgment keeps you fragmented. Judgment keeps you weak. The moment you stop labeling parts of yourself as good or bad, and instead see them all as aspects of your power, you shift, you elevate, you ascend. So now the question is, what will you do with the darkness inside of you? Will you keep running from it? Will you keep suppressing it, pretending it does not exist? Or will you step into it fully, with awareness, with control, with mastery? Because the truth is, you were never meant to be just light. You were meant to be both, the fire and the calm, the storm and the stillness, the force that can destroy and the force that can heal. And once you understand this, once you embody this, you become something rare, something powerful, something unstoppable. Because now, nothing inside of you is working against you. Now, every part of you is aligned, moving with precision, with purpose, with absolute focus. This is the way of the shadow warrior. This is what separates those who rise from those who remain trapped. And now you must ask yourself, are you ready to stop fighting and start mastering? Are you ready to stop running and start commanding? Because the moment you do, the game changes. The moment you do, you step into a level of power that few ever reach. The unshakable one, how to become the master of both light and dark and walk through life untouchable. There is a point in your journey where nothing can shake you anymore. Not fear, not doubt, not the opinions of others, not even your own inner darkness. Because by then, you have mastered something most people never even attempt. You have become the commander of both your light and your shadow. You have integrated every part of yourself, leaving no weak spots, no internal battles, no fragmentation. This is the highest level of self-mastery, the state where you no longer react to life, you create it. Most people never reach this level because they are either too afraid of their own darkness or too attached to their comfort. They cling to one side, believing that to be good, they must reject all that is dark within them, or they let their darkness consume them, believing that power comes from destruction. But true power, true mastery, is neither extreme. It is balance. It is standing in the center of the storm, unshaken, knowing that no matter what happens around you or within you, you remain in control. The unshakable one is not ruled by emotions. He uses them. When fear arises, he does not resist it. He studies it. He uses it as a guide, as a tool for deeper awareness. When anger flares, he does not suppress it. He redirects it. He turns it into fuel, into motion, into action. When pain comes, he does not collapse under it. He transforms it. He lets it forge his resilience, deepen his wisdom, sharpen his instincts. Nothing is wasted, nothing is feared, everything is integrated. This level of mastery does not come from reading about it, from thinking about it, from wishing for it. It comes from experience. It comes from walking into your own darkness and not running away. It comes from facing your deepest fears and refusing to be controlled by them. It comes from embracing every part of yourself, the parts you love and the parts you have been taught to reject. And this is where most people fail. They seek comfort instead of power. They want peace without first earning it. They want mastery without first walking through their own fire. But the chosen ones, the ones who truly awaken, know that peace is not found in avoiding darkness. It is found in becoming so powerful, so aligned, that darkness no longer controls them. To become unshakable, you must train yourself to see the world differently. You must stop reacting and start observing. When something triggers you, do not fall into it immediately. Step back. Watch it. Understand it. Emotions are not enemies, they are teachers. Fear is not an obstacle, it is a map. Every time something within you rises with intensity, it is showing you where your next level of growth is. The ones who remain weak are the ones who resist this truth. The ones who rise are the ones who embrace it. But beyond observation, there is action. Mastery does not come from understanding alone, it comes from applying that understanding in real time. When fear grips you, do you retreat or do you step forward? When anger burns within you, do you lash out mindlessly or do you channel it into something powerful? When life tests you, do you break or do you rise? These are the moments that define whether you will remain ordinary or step into your full power. The highest warriors in history, the most enlightened masters, the ones who left their mark on this world, they all understood one thing: power comes from within. It is not given, it is claimed. It is not something external, it is something you cultivate. And once you cultivate it to the highest level, you walk through life untouchable. Not because challenges disappear, not because life becomes easy, but because nothing outside of you has the power to shake what is unbreakable within you. So now ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped reacting to life and started creating it? What would happen if you stopped fearing your own power and started stepping into it fully? What would happen if you no longer saw yourself as someone struggling against darkness, but as someone who commands both light and dark with absolute mastery? Because that is what you were meant to become, not half of yourself, not a fraction of your power, but whole, complete, unshakable. When you reach this level, you move differently, you think differently. You no longer get caught in the small dramas of life. You no longer waste energy on meaningless battles. You see clearly, you act decisively, you move with purpose, knowing that nothing outside of you can break what has been built within you. And this is the greatest truth of all. The world does not shape you, you shape the world. Once you understand this, once you embody this, you will never again be at the mercy of life. You will never again be controlled by fear, by doubt, by the illusions of weakness. You will walk with the quiet confidence of one who has faced everything within themselves and emerged victorious. This is what it means to be unshakable. This is what it means to be truly free. The final evolution, becoming the architect of reality and unlocking limitless power. There comes a moment when everything shifts, when you are no longer just moving through life, reacting to circumstances, hoping for change. When you realize with undeniable clarity that you are not just a participant in this existence, you are the architect of it, the creator, the force that shapes reality itself. Most people never reach this understanding because they are trapped in the illusion of limitation. They believe they are at the mercy of their past, their environment, their emotions. They believe power is something external, something to be earned, something to be given or taken away. But the truth that only the awakened ones see, is that power has always been within them, that reality does not happen to them, it happens through them. Zen. When you integrate both your light and your darkness, when you master your emotions, your thoughts, your energy, you unlock something that most people will never touch: limitless creation. You are no longer bound by fear because you understand that fear is just a doorway. You are no longer controlled by doubt because you have seen that doubt is just the mind questioning its own power. You are no longer waiting for signs, for permission, for circumstances to be perfect, because you know that the only thing that truly shapes your life is your own will. The final evolution is not about gaining more knowledge or collecting more experiences. It is about stepping fully into your own divinity. It is about knowing at the deepest level that you are not separate from the forces that create worlds, that the energy you direct, the thoughts you hold, the emotions you cultivate are the very tools that shape your existence. You are not here to be passive, you are here to create. But this level of power comes with responsibility. The more you awaken, the more you realize that there is no one left to blame, no excuses, no external forces dictating your path. It is all you. Every outcome, every experience, every moment of your life is a reflection of the energy you have put into the world. And once you accept this fully, everything changes. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start allowing. You stop fearing failure because you understand that failure is just a shift in direction, not an end point. You no longer see challenges as obstacles, but as opportunities to refine your mastery. Because now you are not just reacting to life, you are designing it. The architect of reality does not wait, he decides. He does not question whether he is worthy, he knows he is. He does not seek power, it flows through him effortlessly because he has removed the internal barriers that once blocked it. He moves with certainty, not because he has all the answers, but because he trusts himself to create them. And this is the final test. Will you step fully into this power, or will you shrink back into the illusion of limitation? Will you claim your place as the creator of your own destiny, or will you fall into the old patterns of fear and hesitation? Because the truth is, the door has always been open. The question is whether you will walk through it. Everything you have been searching for, strength, freedom, purpose, clarity, it has been within you all along. There is nothing outside of you that you need, no missing piece. No external force that will complete you. You are already whole. You are already powerful. You are already capable of bending reality to your will. The only thing left is for you to believe it, to act on it, to live it. The final evolution is not an end, it is a beginning. The moment you step into this truth, the moment you stop seeking and start being, the universe will respond. Because now you are not just a part of the game, you are the one designing it. And once you fully grasp this, once you embody it with every fiber of your being, you will never again question who you are, why you are here, or what you are capable of. You will know, and that knowing will make you unstoppable.